In June of 2013, my husband and I had the wonderful opportunity to travel to Jamaica for our honeymoon. I had traveled a few times before, but this was my husband's first time on an airplane. This was also the first trip that we had taken as a couple. We flew into Montego Bay, Jamaica. I was so excited to get to Jamaica, I didn't take any pictures on our plane ride there. Once we arrived in Montego Bay, we had a 2.5-hour bus trip to our resort in Ocho Rios. Our bus was fairly packed with other couples heading to the same resort. Some were surprised it was going to take us so long to get to Ocho Rios. On our way to Ocho Rios, we seen a lot of goats. Our driver said it was fairly common to see these goats around, and he also mentioned that they did not belong to anybody. When we arrived at our resort, I noticed there were a lot of cats roaming around. During our trip, we seen cats everywhere. Our resort told us that they were strays and to steer clear of them. Even though we couldn't touch or feed them, they were very fun to look at. When we were taken to our room, I was very disappointed at first because we could not see the ocean and we were a ways away from the restaurants. After some negotiating, we were able to move to an oceanfront room and I was very excited because our view was beautiful. When we got into our oceanfront room, we had a night view of the ocean. They had a lighted deck with lights in the water. When we woke up in the morning, it was an even more breathtaking view to see the clear blue waters and the bright shining sky. When we would leave for the day and the room service maids would clean our room, they would leave adorable towel animals on our bed. They would hand form these animals out of white hand towels. Some days they would also leave flowers with them. My favorite animal was the turtle with the flower. The first full day we were in Jamaica, we went on a bus tour to see the burial site of Bob Marley. The bus we rode on was very spacious and it picked us up at our resort. It was covered in many pieces of Bob Marley memorabilia. During our trip, it was also playing Bob Marley music. On our way to Bob Marley's burial site, we stopped for lunch at a spot that was selling items to raise money for a school. You could buy reggae CDs and wooden hand-carved treasures. In the pictures, you can see our bus and some of the vendors that were selling items. Also on our Bob Marley tour, we met a man on the side of the road that was making money by introducing tourists to a mongoose. Our bus stopped and we were able to take a look. You could take pictures for free, but he asked for tips to see it up close. On the tour, we rode on some very curvy, twisty, narrow roads. Since the bus driver drove these roads daily, they did not seem to bother him. When we would go around bends, the driver would honk the horn in case other drivers from the opposite side were there. I also thought we were traveling very fast. Once we arrived at the Bob Marley burial site, we were able to see many important locations. We toured the house Bob Marley grew up in, we seen a rock where he would like to sit, and we were also able to view his grave. It was a very interesting site to tour. On the next day of our Jamaican trip, we went ziplining. We rode a gondola up to the zipline. The gondola ride was about 20 minutes long and it made me a little nervous since I do not enjoy heights. We then ziplined all the way back to the bottom. One of the most unique things we were able to do while in Jamaica was hike up waterfalls. We rode a boat to the waterfalls and it took us all afternoon to hike up them. Our guide made a video of our group hiking up the waterfall, so we were left with a great souvenir in the end. My favorite activity we were able to take part in while in Jamaica was snorkeling. We were able to go out 3 different times. We learned about the many types of fish and coral. We didn't have a GoPro or a waterproof camera, so I never got a picture of us snorkeling. But here is one of the other tourists snorkeling. At That night, the resort was full of evening entertainment. My husband and I decided to go watch a talent show one night. We didn't know what to expect, but it ended up being really fun. A lot of the resort staff performed, and it was awesome to see all their many talents. One of the last activities we were able to do while in Jamaica was ride in a glass-bottom boat. The glass was magnified, so it made it very easy to see the fish, coral, and other sea life. Our captain was very knowledgeable, and he was able to show us some really neat things. Our resort was packed with amazing restaurants. We had fresh fruit and breakfast buffets in the morning. On the days we were around in the afternoon, we enjoyed burgers and pizza, and each evening we tried a new restaurant for supper. We tried steak, spaghetti, and different types of jerk chicken. We were never hungry. I will always remember the amazing views we were able to experience while in Jamaica. I loved waking up to the clear blue waters and being able to relax on the beach, but I also loved the lush green gardens and countrysides. It is safe to say these pictures do not do it justice. On the day we left Jamaica, it was very hazy. This is the last picture I got before we had to leave. Our week went so fast, but we were able to take back so many memories with us. One day it would be nice to go back and visit again. Too bad that day wasn't today.